What a mean saxophone that sounded at the end. That's our special guest, our live guest on London Country, and I didn't give the phone number out, incidentally. It was just a regulars ringing in, 486-7744. If you'd like to ask Carl Perkins a question, make it original, try and get it on the air. If you do, you got a chance of getting your, not only read on the air, but also Carl Perkins's latest record, free and for nothing, thanks to Jet Records. And
personally autographed, Bob.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't got one of them. Carl Perkins and Old Blue Suede's back. And that's on the Jet label, coming out in a couple of weeks' time. Next week, really.
Yeah, next Friday.
UATV 30146. UATV 30146. That TV, does that mean it's going to be TV advertised?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Sure is.
Well, that's really nice. I've spoken to many members of the record company and your management, the Mervyn Collins, and they're all excited about it, which is nice.
Oh,
isn't it?
They really are, and they've just got me doubly excited. You know, this first time in many, many years, Bob, that I really feel like that I've got some of the ingredients that you have to sell records, and that is a record company that believes you're going to, and these people are really live wires. They all know what they're doing at Jet, and I feel like that I'm very lucky to be to have a manager like Mervyn Kahn to do things that I've never had done before. So I'm really excited about it too.
Great. Well, we're going to continue with people singing your songs, and here's a superstar I've never heard of called Bill Thompson on the Jet label.
Yeah.
Thanks to Dave Travers. Have you heard this?
No, I haven't. I sure haven't. I know this is sounding like not the real thing, but friends, I have not heard a lot of these. This one I hadn't heard at all. I was saying a little while ago, I wrote this song for Merle Haggard. And
I haven't got it by Merle Haggard, Carl.
Well, Merle never recorded it, Bob. I don't know whether he, I don't know whether he ever heard the song. It was taken to him, and but I actually had Merle in mind when I wrote this song. It's called Tom and Mary Jane.
Here's Bill Thompson.
It was one long year ago I came to Folsom. I shot a man a little bit south of San. Won't you help them, Lord, someday?
That was the sound of Bill Thompson at 3 o'clock, and time for the news with Bob Richards.
Found today buried in woods near the city. Well, that's it. Our next news on Radio London will be at 4 o'clock.
Thank you very much, Bob Richards. You are listening, of course, to London Country on Radio London, and our very special guest is Carl Perkins. In fact, we're going to prove this by having 4 of your records in a row. We call it a 4 in a row that we always have on London Country, Carl. Starting off slow and ending up with a definite rocker, as we say in the trade. Yeah. What do you do when you are on shows, and maybe especially even country shows? Mm-hmm. You get a minority of rockers who are shouting out for the rock. It must put you in a bit of a quandary whether to do a country show or a rock show, doesn't it?
Well, no, not really, Bob. I've been very lucky through the years. They're just kind of quiet, and of course, when we get to rocking, they rock along with us. But they don't do very much shouting.
I noticed when you did your promotional show at the Nashville Room last week, there seemed to be as many guitarists on stage as there were people in the audience.
I'll tell you, that was a great day. I really was pleasantly surprised. Dave Edmunds, Alan Price, man, that stage was loaded with great pickers, and I've never played with these guys. Well, once or twice, several years ago, I played with Alan Price some, but and I walked out and plugged into that amplifier, and his cats were rolling right into Matchbox and all those old songs, and they did beautiful. And it was a great day for me, it really was.
Right, well, this is a very, very special guest on London Country, Carl Perkins, and 4 in a row. We've got a lot of people in the studio. That's Carl Perkins and Rock On Round the World, especially written for the album. In fact, that was a 4 in a row on Carl Perkins at 14 minutes past 3 in London Country, and it was not only 4 tracks of different moods, but also 4 different labels. True Love is Greater Than Friendship on the Columbia label, which I heard in a film recently. In fact, it was a film soundtrack, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was. I wrote the thing for a movie called Little False and Big Halsey, Robert Redford. In fact, I wrote the whole soundtrack for that movie, the title song and this one, and a couple of more songs in there.
Right. And then My Old Hometown on the Dolly label.
Yeah, that was a label started by Mr. Bill Denny, the owner of Cedarwood Publishing Company there, and it was a great association with them. I like some of the things I recorded on Dolly.
Glad All Over, and this was in your Sundays.
Yeah, I remember I did this song, Bob, in a movie called Jamboree.
Oh.
The movie company sent 2 songs down to Sun Record Company for me to take a listen to. I had my choice of this Glad All Over or another song that was called Great Balls of Fire. That was done, and we know what happened with that one by the great Jerry Lee.
Right.
But I did Glad All Over in a movie called Jamboree.
Well, you're talking about Sun, so we got a question here from Sandy McDermott. Incidentally, we got so many questions, I have to pick and choose. Sorry about that. Then Sandy McDermott is from Homer Green, and he says, are you happy about the fact that Sun have released a lot of your records in the last couple of years have never been released before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely am. I'd like to, on some of the things, I would like to have redone them. I think I could have, done a better job on them. But, yeah, I'm glad they're out. I really am.
And the last one was Rock On Round the World from your album, actually. Well, Blue Suede is back, and that's true. He's here live.
Right on, yeah.
I appreciate you doing almost a complete program with us. It's really nice of you to find the time, Carl.
Well, it's just an honor for me to be here, Bob. I admire the way you handle this show, and you're the man for the job, and I know you've got a lot of great listeners, and hello out there. I'm alive, and I'm enjoying myself this Saturday afternoon.
Was Tom Brissett hello there in Radio Land?
Right.
David Smith wants to know, what is your favorite rock and roll singer apart from yourself?
Well, thank you, Dave. My all-time favorite rock singer would have to be the great Elvis Presley.
Yeah. Did you know him personally very well?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I worked with Elvis in the early years, about a year from 54 up through about the middle of 55. I played the old high school gyms and the old school buildings around Memphis and Mississippi, Arkansas with Elvis. And I knew even back in those days, Bob, that this boy had everything it took to be what he was. Before the world started screaming, they were screaming for Elvis around Memphis and in that area, and I knew he had that magic. He had it all.
Well, we got 2 questions, in fact, about the song that associated with both of you. Bill Lake of Peacehaven says, on a recent quiz program, the question was, who popularized Blue Suede Shoes? And they said it was Elvis and not Carl Perkins. Who did popularize it originally?
Well, I wrote the song in 1955. My record was released January the 1st, 1956. I had sold 1 million records of Blue Suede Shoes by March the 22nd, at which time I was on my way to do the Perry Como show in New York City. And Elvis cut the song in about April of that year. But by the time Presley cut it, I had already sold about 1.5 million records.
Right, and Vic Woodhouse, that's a regular name to us, says a new jet recording of Blue Suede Shoes, which we played at the beginning of this interview, that the phrasing is different to the original. He said it's more similar to Elvis Presley's recording.
Yeah, that's true. I've developed through the years, and I'm sure it come about by playing dances. The kids like to move a little faster, it seems, these days than they did back in the days that I recorded Blue Suede Shoes. And I do, most of the time, I do the song more in the speed that Elvis and some of the others did it than I originally did it. once in a while I'll slow down and do it like it originally was written.
The proper way.
Right.
We're going to have another one of your recordings now, and this is by a man. I haven't heard of James Seago, but there is a gospel group, Seago, someone Naomi. I don't know whether...
Naomi and the Seago Brothers.
Yeah, I wonder if that's one of them.
I have no idea.
Okay, this is a song you wrote called "Oh to the Hare," and I haven't heard this. What an odd title.
I hadn't either. Let's hear it.
You can tell me we can go to the moon, send television pictures through the air. There's somebody somewhere ought to be smart enough to grow just a little bit of hair. Now you can transplant hearts and take out eyes and remove lungs, one to a... We'll get along with a golden comb and just sit and comb our pretty hair.
That was James Seago, and we both agreed that he sounds like Rochester from the Jack Benny Show.
Yes, he sure did, yeah.
That's an odd song. When did you write that, or why did you write that? Or
I've always had a hair problem of my own, and I got to thinking about it one day, and I just sat around and wrote it. I actually didn't have any idea that anybody had ever recorded this song. Really, it's not a song. It's just a lot of words thrown together. But I think he did a good job. I like that.
Yeah, it's nice. And we got one now. This is something different. This is Robert Ball from Luton, who says, in the early 60s, your fingers were cut in a fan. How did it affect you, and have you recovered?
Well, it affected my guitar playing quite a bit, Bob. It really did. If we were on TV, the folks could see. But I'll just have to tell you, the little finger is without feeling, and it was just pulled down and sewn in a pretty closed position. I only play guitar with 3 fingers, and I had to just practically learn all over again when that happened. But thank God, I've been told that there's not a lot of difference in the way I play, but it was determination and a lot of good luck that I got to use that hand again.
How do you, Ron Grover wants to know, how do you feel about performing for the British, or do you prefer performing for the Americans?
There are no greater audiences in the world than here in Britain. They are the sweetest fans a man could ever have right here in this country. They're the most loyal, most dedicated, sincere audiences. This is it. This is where it's at.
Neville Millard wants to know that are your 2 sons going to back you at Wembley this year like they did last year?
Yes, they are. They'll be here the 23rd, Stan and Greg.
And I think it's a good one. Peter Skilton says, has there been a book about you? I believe there has been.
Pardon me, yeah. The book is called A New Disciple in Blue Suede Shoes. It'll be out in America in July. And I wrote the whole book myself. Of course, it's been... some of the spelling's been done right by professionals, but the story is of my life as I remember it. I talk about the early son years. I tell my life right up to now, the parts that I can tell.
Now, this is a controversial question. You don't mind the other one, do you? John, from John Mike Lynn, I believe it is. Do you think you were robbed of the hit Blue Suede Shoes, which was sung by when Elvis recorded? Well, of course, it had already been a hit by you.
That's right. No, I've been asked that many times, Bob. I have never felt anything but admiration for Elvis or anybody that would record one of my songs. I said the other day, and it's so true, the only sad thing about Elvis and my songs was that he didn't cut everything I ever wrote. That would have made me happy.
In fact, that goes into Sean O'Donnell's question. How many songs, do you know what songs Elvis has cut that you've written? How many others besides Blue Suede Shoes?
Gosh, that's about it. I think, really, that's about the only one.
Okay. Well, we're now to a man called Jimmy Rabbit on an album produced by Waylon Jennings, with Waylon messing about in the background too, evidently, singing one of your numbers that you've recorded on a number of occasions for Sun and Mercury, at least, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. The song, what is Dixie Fried?
That's it.
That's the one.
Jimmy Rabbit.